It's Saturday evening, February 12th. I'm going to share this one on my YouTube. It's very good, and it makes very good points. I've seen just another recent video of a lady police officer from Ontario, a very short. She seems nervous, like she's under pressure. And if she's been a police officer after all this time, she probably is the victim of intimidation at the young age that she is still. So, but I want to say that, well, I mean, she's got courage, but her message is short. I'm not sure if it's her own words. If it is, I mean, you would want to not stop the video so quickly, right? But I want to say that I haven't seen police officers post that they disagree with the way either First Nations or non-First Nations people, let's say, in the south of Victoria Island defending old growth forests. I haven't heard police officers putting up videos that they disagree with what's happening there. So it's kind of hard to take police officers seriously, whether they're retired or not, whether they're military or not, whether they're proud to have served their country, and whether they say things as ridiculous as, everything was perfect before, the virus. When it's not about the virus, and when the virus is over, you will still have your flaws up here that nobody wants to admit to. So this is pretty sad. I'm going to share this on Facebook. But it's true that there's a double standard and that there are various forms of child abuse happening with the protesters. But again, these are culturally acceptable, it seems, if it's white people, compared to things that are not as bad from, First Nations people. And everybody is going to get more trauma from this. And every country that is rooting the hypocrisy and the double standards and the false images of what Canadian society is really like, whether it's Bill Maher, if I'm pronouncing his name properly, or whether it's anybody from any country in the news that doesn't know that much about Canada, that is supporting the divisiveness. I don't know, people are pronouncing it differently. I have to learn how to pronounce this. Dividing people. And by the way, Trudeau, I haven't heard, and again, I'm not a fan of him, but he's the guy we got now. And he's got the hardest job in the history of prime ministers in the last, let's say, 50 years maybe. And you can interpret that whatever you want. I'm just kind of making a guess that this is very hard, his job right now. And he needs support from not just his parties, but other parties. But it's only redneckism that's creating this divide. And I haven't heard as much of these comments of divide from Trudeau. And everybody says he's saying this, this was months ago, and everybody can have a bad day. And in our culture, we don't apologize because it looks bad. So it's not like he's the only one that doesn't regret his words. It's just we don't apologize in our culture. And look for apologies from other parties. See if you can find those. So the other parties are doing more of the dividing Canada, and the other countries are also doing it. And it's not necessarily countries that are doing it on purpose. They're just rednecks. They don't know they're doing it. They don't know much about Canada. They don't know much about the nonsense here. And they don't know that they have flaws up here too. They don't know that their voice with followers is dangerous. So again, Hitler was a pretty unwell person up here. And what he did, again, was not him shooting everybody, gassing everybody. It was other people doing it because they had things unwell here too. He was the speaker of this thing that spread easily because people were sick back then, and they're not less sick now. It just looks different today. You can have somebody that everybody thinks is brilliant and should go in politics. And again, that person is high on their power of their followers, not even realizing that sometimes 90% of their followers interpret what they said in totally different ways because you guys don't acknowledge it's very, very wrong up here. So stop trying to blame other people and clean your own freaking backyards. And that means go back home if you've got a backyard and teach your kid how to, maintain the land in your backyard.